Hey, it's Fletch. Welcome once again to the June iCERT member update. I'm Mark Fletcher. I'm Vice President of Public Safety Solutions at 911 Inform, a proud iCERT member. And joining me, as always, is George Kellerman, who is the Executive Director of iCERT. Welcome again, George. How are you?
Hey, great to be with you, Fletch. Thanks. How are you?
Good. So, give us an update on the spring iCERT meeting out in Seattle. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great to get everybody together in person for the first time in a good while, right? So back in mid-May, iCERT held its spring member meeting. Had a good couple days of really good content for iCERT members, hosted by Amazon Web Services at their headquarters in downtown Seattle. So very cool place to be. Had a great meeting, and I think if folks weren't able to make it, there is a really cool picture gallery and some recap information on the iCERT website at theindustrycouncil.org. So check that out. And, kind of pivoting to the next member meeting, we have a couple member meetings a year. We've already announced the save the date, if you will. We've sent that out to the membership for the winter member meeting. It'll be December 7th in Washington, D.C. So we're looking forward to putting together another really good member meeting. It'll be very timely being in DC right after the midterm elections. I think a lot of folks are expecting there to probably be some changes as a result of the elections, and so we'll be able to be there right on the heels of the election and right on Capitol Hill where we'll be meeting, and hopefully have some opportunities to engage with some congressional folks. To kind of talk a little bit about what next year and the next Congress might look like, and what it might look like for iCERT's priorities.
Yeah, you guys secured a pretty cool venue, like right across the street from Capitol Hill.
That's right. We'll be at the Capitol Hill Club, which is catty corner to one of the House office buildings, to the Cannon House office buildings, and literally across the street from the main Capitol building. So we'll be right there on the Hill. And in addition to our full day of events on the 7th, we're going to have a couple of, surrounding events, our VIP dinner the night before, and then our reception, to conclude our day on the 7th. And we're looking for cool venues. We're already actively working to find some really cool venues right there in and around the Hill area for our members to enjoy.
So one of the big topics that I'm sure is going to be discussed, and one of the big topics right now that just about every member is really interested in, is next generation 911 funding. And I know iCERT has been very, very active on that. What's the latest update there?
Yeah, thanks for asking about that, because up until about, I'd say maybe 3 weeks ago, we felt like we were going to spend the rest of this year laying a lot of groundwork, doing a lot of important work, building awareness, and more focused on really engaging in a legislative push next year during the new Congress. And then sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and we got lucky, and on the House side, the House Energy and Commerce Committee decided to attach a next generation 911 funding language to one of the FCC spectrum authorization bills that is working its way through the Congress. And so it's very, very early in the process, but we have cleared a couple hurdles in committee, and the bill will be up before full committee here when Congress comes back next week, more than likely during this 3-week period when they come back between mid-July and the August recess, so the very beginning of August. So our hope is that the bill can be cleared out of committee before the August recess and be teed up for House floor action as soon as they get back in September. The other, interesting piece to this is it's bipartisan, and that's frankly a nice new wrinkle to the building of momentum for NG911 funding. And so we feel pretty good about the prospects for this bill. It's not perfect, but it is certainly a pretty good bill all in all. And, like every piece of legislation, there will probably be some minor adjustments and tweaks made throughout the process. And our hope is that if it can, this momentum can continue on the House side, and it can get out of the House, that sends a signal to the Senate with whatever it is they're going to do to try to, really work on this issue. And so we think that if things play out the way that they have so far, that it should send a pretty strong signal and hopefully a little bit better signal than what we had last fall with the Build Back Better bill, which, as good as that was, it was very, very partisan, and it was a very tough environment to try to move our issue within. I think we've got a little bit better environment here, so we'll see how it goes. It's early, but we'll keep everybody posted, and obviously want folks to stay engaged.
Yeah, people don't realize what's involved in getting legislation. It goes way back to the "I'm just a bill," PBS special. If you really don't sit and look at it, it's like the old adage, right? Sausage being made. You really don't want to see what goes into it. But that's the value, I think, of an iCERT membership for any company that's in the public safety or public safety related business. It gets you a seat at the table through iCERT, who's a well-respected, very connected organization that's got the finger on the pulse of the industry, represents its member companies and their concerns, and it really gives somebody a voice in Washington where they would have none otherwise.
No, absolutely. I mean, you nailed it right there, Fletch. It's we have the opportunity to have a seat at the table and to be in those discussions and to help craft legislation and policy. Frankly, this is one example that helps our member companies and the industry really be able to function better and to move their products and to be part of public safety and to be part of that arc from the moment that phone call is dialed, that 911 call is dialed, to the moment that response comes to whoever is asking for help. And so, our folks fill that arc, right? Our members. And so everything that we do, particularly in the legislative arena and in the policy arena, is geared towards helping technology and innovation continue to help push that forward so that at the end of the day, you have efficient, effective, and timely response that helps people.
Right. And the meaning is in the name, the Industry Council for Emerging Response Technologies. We're in the middle of emerging technologies on a daily basis. Next generation 911 is going to change the world, and using all the capabilities and communicative capabilities that are out there today. And I think it's important for companies to be a part of that, to represent themselves, but also to contribute, because legislators don't understand technology, and you need the value to be brought to the table and presented to them. And iCERT's a great opportunity and a venue to do that. So
yeah, absolutely.
I know for us, it's paid off tremendously.
No, absolutely. And thanks for the endorsement. I think obviously the legislative and policy issues are a huge part of what we do. But when you talk about a seat at the table, you're kind of turning that inwards a little bit. It gives companies of all shapes and sizes that are engaged in this industry and in emergency response, in public safety technology, an opportunity. We create a forum and a network for folks to talk to one another, to bounce ideas off of one another. Obviously, the greatest manifestation of that is our in-person meetings, where folks have time to spend with one another. But there's also a whole lot of other venues within iCERT, the committee structure, and even informal opportunities for folks to build those relationships, build those connections. Sometimes it leads to business opportunities, but at a minimum, you've got sounding boards, you've got resources within the industry that perhaps maybe you didn't have, and you're not floating out there by yourself.
Right. And it's not just for the big T-Mobiles and the Amazons, it's for the mid-sized companies and smaller mid-sized companies like 911 Inform, but it's also for the smaller companies as well. I think we've got a very appropriate sliding rate scale, right? That compensates for that.
Yeah.
So everybody can be a member.
Yeah, absolutely. I encourage anybody who's interested in this space to check out our website. It's all there. And, talking about small members and small companies, we're actually in the process of really reinvigorating and regenerating our small member, our small company committee. It's something that iCERT had in the past, and it's kind of been dormant a little bit, but we're ready. We've got some members that really want to gin that thing back up. And I think it's going to provide an important platform, an important forum for smaller companies that get engaged with iCERT, that operate in our space, to kind of work together and to bubble things up to the bigger picture of what the association does. So it's important to have that voice among with all the other voices that we have within the association. So if you're a small company, there's a place for you beyond just simply being a member. So
yeah, and hey, let's face it, a lot of the innovation comes from small companies, right?
Sure.
Look at places like that were startups that are now significant factors in the industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, listen, thanks so much for sitting down with us monthly. I really do appreciate it as an iCERT member, and I know our other members do as well, taking the time out of your busy schedule to keep everybody up to date with what's going on and providing this on a monthly basis. So thanks very much.
Yeah, absolutely, Fletch. Thank you for your help with all this. Thanks to 911 Inform for their membership and obviously for their sponsorship of our periodic podcast. So great to be with you, and look forward to joining you again next month.
Great. We'll talk to you again in the fall. Thanks again, George.
Thanks, Mark.